seen that in this most recent case involving an individual who was found not guilty by reason of insanity and was failed by the system. So I know that you will have many questions, but I want to preface this discussion with that individual went through the legal process. That process took over a year. At the time of the offense, the court found that that individual was legally insane at the time of the offense. There are differences between competency and insanity. Competency means whether or not a person can stand trial, whether or not they can appreciate the nature and consequences of what is happening in a courtroom, whether they understand what the consequences of an outcome is going to be, whether or not they're able to meaningfully participate with their attorney in the course of a trial. Insanity, though, goes back to the offense. Were they legally insane at the time of the offense? And this is a legal determination that's made based on assistance from mental health providers. The standard is whether or not they are a danger to themselves or others. Now, you may be thinking, well, obviously they're a danger to themselves if they committed an aggravated battery with a firearm. But we're not looking at the time of the offense. We're looking at the time of the sentencing. Are they a danger to themselves or others? The mental health provider in this case found that that individual was not a danger to himself or others at the time of his sentencing. And based on that, the standard that is set forth in the statute prohibits the court from sentencing someone to involuntary commitment in a mental health hospital. Even if someone is involuntarily committed to a mental health hospital, that commitment has to remain under review. And as soon as that person is no longer deemed a danger to themselves or others, then the least restrictive conditions are required to be put in place. And that is release into the community. Now, I have researched into this case since the latest event has taken place. And what I found is that that individual was sentenced to conditional release. And that conditional release was that he would continue treatment with an outpatient community partner. My understanding is that that treatment was originally costing $7 a month. And that after a period of time, that $7 a month bill went up to $150+ a month. And that the individual was no longer in compliance with his treatment because of inability to pay for that treatment. And now here we are with individuals who need mental health treatment and don't have access to that treatment. Bad things happen. And that's what we're dealing with. I want to be very delicate in how I talk about this because we can never overlook the fact that 3 people are dead. 3 families are grieving. And this is not an opportunity for political discussions. This is not an opportunity for political mudslinging, but this is an opportunity for solutions to problems that our community faces that we need to do better on promoting public safety. How can we do that? Well, we can start by giving mentally ill people access to the care that they need. This is not an individual responsibility. This is a community responsibility. It's a community responsibility because the community is the one in danger when mentally ill people go without their treatment. So this is something that the current case, I'm not able to answer a lot of questions about because it is open and ongoing. But the bigger issue of mental illness, one that we dealt with just recently with the individual who committed the battery over in Winter Park, and is now back in the system for violating probation, also falls under the staple of mental illness. So we're seeing this as a pattern. We're seeing this as a theme. And what I would like to do is talk about solutions instead of trying to throw mud over who's the cause of the problem.